We may live over 5,000 miles from Lincoln Financial Field, but what we lack in proximity, we make up for in film study. And each and every week, we'll be bringing you in-depth film breakdowns from across the pond and the Sooner State. Welcome to On the Shane Page. I am your host, Shane Haff. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane Haff NFL, and I am joined by BGN's own film guru, Jonny Page. Give him a follow on Twitter at JohnnyPage9. Jonny, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good. The calm of the draft is over. I'm scrambling to try to balance life and work and write as many reports as I can for Bleeding Green. I love this time of the year in a weird way. I like it when you can just cool down and analyze the roster, look at the Cowboys making crazy trades and stuff. It's all good fun, isn't it? It's silly season. We won't actually touch on it today, Shane, but I guess we should briefly just mention at the start that I imagine we both feel very similar about the Dallas Goedert news. That we won't do anything big time on it today, but I think we both agreed throughout the offseason really that those trade rumors didn't make any sense and the Eagles massively needed to keep him around. So I think you, like myself, was very, very pleased when you saw that come in.
Yeah, that never made any sense. They shouldn't have even considered moving on from him. And honestly, a lot of me thinks that was just manufactured by people that wanted something to talk about.
Yeah, who knows? And we've already got Kev chiming in saying I'm looking in a good mood considering the football last night. Yes, thank God the Eagles won a Super Bowl, Shane, because my beloved Arsenal are not winning everything or winning anything, in fact, this year. So you can't win them all. You can't win them all. In Arsenal's case, you can't win anything the past 5 years. But luckily, the Eagles have saved my sporting fandom. Anyway, today's a bit of a weird one. So you were going to say straight off the bat, if you are listening to this on audio, we would highly recommend watching the video for this one. It's not a normal podcast per se. This is something we did last year, a little bit with Patreon. So tell the people, Shane, what we're doing today, and then I'll waffle a little bit about it as well.
Yeah, so we're going to do a Jihaad Campbell All-22 film review from the Alabama-Michigan bowl game this last offseason, or last postseason. I guess it wasn't offseason yet. But unlike our normal film review shows for Eagles games, we have not watched this before. So we don't have clips put together with points we're going to talk about. We're just going to put the film on and talk about what we're seeing. And so this is going to be a lot better show for a video format. And you can catch that video on the YouTube page for the Eagles Pinpool Network, on the Twitch page. It'll be archived on our Twitter feeds as well. So we will put it in the audio platform so people can find it, and because downloads are helpful, and you'll be able to glean some things from just listening to us talk if you're just not going to go watch it. But it is going to work better in a video format. So I would recommend watching it that way. And like Jonny mentioned, we did do this in the lead up to the Super Bowl for the Chiefs offense and defense and for some different things on Patreon. And we're going to be doing this for other Eagles draft selections on Patreon as well. So this is sort of a preview of what is on Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to all kinds of bonus perks, exclusive film shows, a Patreon Discord, a mailbag episode of the podcast, which we just recorded last week. So you can go check that out. So there's a lot of stuff there, a lot of bang for your buck if you want to go check it out. If not, we'll still be here on the public feed, but over the next few weeks, it might be like every other week as we're trying to really cram stuff for our Patreon members. So check that out. Hopefully you like this. Just remember, video platform is going to be a little better for this show.
Yeah, when we got Austin chiming in saying film withdrawal. Yeah, film review withdrawal. You're not alone, Austin. So yeah, people aren't stupid out there. You know that we work quite hard, and the Patreon helps us a lot. So we try to balance the Patreon combined with the free stuff on here. This was, I think, Shane, and I'm biased, but I think the best thing we did all of last year was the Super Bowl show, the two before. So what we did for Patreon, for those of you that weren't around, is we'd watch the Chiefs play a full game of offense, a full game of defense, all 22. We streamed the whole thing like we are now. We did the same for the Bills before the game. And I just think it's nice because obviously we both watched Campbell. We both got an idea. I actually haven't managed to get my hands on a lot of All-22 film this year. So I was scrambling for BGN, and long story short, I now have lots of All-22 film. Both of us do, for every single Eagles draft pick. So we're going to do one game with Campbell today. It's not a highlight reel, but it ignores plays where he's completely not involved. It's about a half an hour film footage. I did watch the game. I think we're going to look at Michigan today, and I did watch it. But it's been a while since I watched it, and I cannot recommend enough what we did last year before the Super Bowl, because I think we learned so much from the Bills and Chiefs offense and defense from that one show. I think you watch so much football, you consume so much football. I'm sure everyone watching this has watched loads of Jihaad Campbell highlight reels, plays on Twitter, but I don't think you ever get a sense of a player except when you watch a full game. I think in sports in general, we live in a sort of highlight reel society, Shane, and people don't want to watch full games these days. But I don't think you get a sense of a player. I think when you watch someone every snap, or the majority of snaps in this case, you get a sense for how a game flows, whether they're targeting him. I think we both came away after watching the Chiefs thinking the Eagles have got a very good chance here, because it was pretty obvious the more you watch their offense that it was Mahomes only. And we knew how bad the Bills' defense was. When we were watching that game, we couldn't believe how bad the Bills were, Shane. And I obviously watched the game live, but I didn't get a sense of it unless I just sat there and watched the All-22. So, yeah, hopefully, I've already made my Jihaad Campbell film piece. I feel pretty strongly today's probably not going to change my mind. But I'm looking forward to maybe learning something else as well, Shane. Maybe we see something else that we weren't expecting to see. Maybe something stands out in particular, because I think that's the joy of these shows. So, yeah, we're going to do one game today for the free stuff. Austin chiming in, Sean McDermott, defensive genius. Yeah, it was bad, man. It was bad. If anyone remembers the Patreon show, it was rough. We'll do one game for Campbell today. Then we'll probably do another one on Patreon at some point. And we've got All-22 for every single rookie. I believe that the Eagles have drafted. I need to check my source, actually, for every single game. But I'm pretty sure I have at least one game with every single player. So, yeah, if you are interested in other shows, please sign up to the Patreon to support us. But also, these shows I really enjoy doing, because there's nothing else but film. And that's sort of, I guess, our product, Shane. So,
yeah, we are also a little bit. Now, obviously, I mean, we want people to go to the Patreon because it's how we're able to keep doing stuff. But we're also just a bit tempting fate with putting college All-22 out there, because it's always hit or miss who gets banned and demonetized and things. That's from
why
that.
It might be a Patreon only thing as well. It's one reason I can't tweet any of this stuff. I refuse to tweet any college All-22.
So you will not see me tweeting All-22 college clips from these games I have access to, because I don't want to get my Twitter account banned. And that's been a thing that's happened to people in the past. So we're going to try to put this one out here on YouTube, and hopefully it stays up.
Get away with it.
And if it doesn't, then we'll have a lot more like it in the Patreon, but we don't want to tempt fate too much. So shall we jump into it, Jonny?
Yeah, let's rock and roll. We'll try not to pause it too much. There should be a lovely little arrow that pops up as well for those of you watching that points out who Jihaad Campbell is, which is very useful. And for some of you, you may have never seen an All-22 of Jihaad Campbell full stop. So you might just want to rock and roll and watch it with us and come along for the ride. Spoiler alert, Shane, we did see this one play when we loaded up the film. So It was a good start, wasn't it? The very, very first play of the game. You get a sense immediately that this is a guy that isn't afraid of running past contact. Old school linebackers might take on the center head on. But Campbell here is maybe a little bit quicker, a little bit more agile than old school linebackers. And he's actually quite willing to avoid contact. And that's a very common trait, I'd say, in a modern day linebacker. Not old school running head first into a blocker there.
Yeah, I like that he's able to it's a run play, obviously, but he takes a step backwards and then gets around him. And here on the second play, we see for the second time in a row that he's mugged up on the line of scrimmage and his first step is back, and it turns out to be a run play and he's involved in the tackles. So people that talked about Jihaad Campbell as an edge rusher, like what Alabama did with him a lot was put him up on the line, but he's not playing the edge. He's doing a lot of bailing out and then reading and reacting.
You won't see him too much in the A gap for the Eagles like that in a double mug look, but you never know. Who knows? Fangio may experiment next year. So it also comes up with a down. So this is 3rd and 6. You can see how early on they're using him in this sort of mug look as well. And that's quite good experience, although he doesn't. That's good, actually. That's a really nice playing coverage. And he's still going, Jesus, he's fast, isn't he? My word, you can really see it there when he excels. There's a lot of good things about that one. Firstly, the dropping in from coverage from the line of scrimmage. This is something that Zach Bourne can do well. It's quite hard to drop into coverage from this position. He dropped really well He gets his eyes on the quarterback. He steps in front of the throwing window, and then he recognizes when to go, and he goes, Shane.
I want to tweet that clip so bad already.
Don't let me do it, Johnny. Does it? It doesn't take long. Yeah. It does not take long at all. Yeah, it's always interesting when you watch plays, isn't it? When you watch them for All-22, you get such a different perspective.
I could really get used to the arrow that's pointing. Oh, throwback play. That was a disaster for Michigan.
So could I. When I loaded up this film that we've just been able to get to, and it had the arrow, I could have cried of happiness because it makes my life so much easier.
Watch how quickly he flows to this too. Doesn't even bite on
No, he does not at all. His eyes are good. I've said this before. When he sees it, he is lightning quick. I think his issue is when he doesn't trust his eyes, but you can see there when he trusts them, he is gone.
Here we go, up in the A gap again.
Yeah, he's living there at the moment, isn't he?
I think he's been on the line every snap but one so far, I think.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, like you said, the Eagles are definitely not going to use him this way. They might do it every once in a while, but they're not going to do it 6 plays in a row.
No, in fact, they quite like blitzing a linebacker from deep, don't they? Quite often with whip, they'll try and disguise the pressure. Yeah, I think that's fine. He gets turned a little bit, but he managed to get off contact still. No major issues there. You're not exactly going to avoid the offensive lineman every single snap. From linebackers, I always want to see just not get engaged for a long period of time. Just get your hands free, stay active. Even if you can't make the tackle immediately, don't get completely taken out of the play. Be around the football. Once again, living in this position. Yeah, and that's one again where he's almost out the play, isn't he, before he starts because he's so central.
Yeah. Wait, didn't the Eagles drafted the tackle? Miles Hinton was Michigan too, right?
No, was he? Oh no, don't tell me that because I'm going to end up watching someone else. I'm not watching him now. Those of you that are watching online can. I'm focusing on it. You can see how quickly he gets out. He gets a little bit unlucky there because he sort of stumbles, but
yeah.
Okay, yeah, we've got a few comments. Austin saying, can he blitz from depth? Yeah, he can. And he will learn to if he can't now because that's how the Eagles are going to use him. So whether we see an example of it in this particular game or not.
Oh gosh, it's like pouring in this game now. It wasn't.
It is, isn't it?
It wasn't doing that earlier.
This will be an interesting test. Yeah, he got mic'd up there pretty good. Then again, it's an interesting position. I think that's where you see he is one more than modern day linebacker, and he's not a huge guy. I think if you do get hands on him early, he's not going to rock you back. I don't think. You can see there he has a good go, but 51 anchors pretty well. It's fascinating to see them how they play this game.
Yeah, I didn't realize this was going to be a rain game. Maybe I should have looked that up a little more.
Nah, who cares? Got to be able to play in all weather conditions. But yeah, if you see a bit of awkward footing.
That was a cool play.
And
Campbell's right there.
Yeah, this is awesome. And most of you, oh my God, that's awesome. Most of you have probably seen this play on the highlight reel because this is one of his best plays of the year. So it's cool seeing him for the All-22. Look at his eyes. And yeah, is that receiver he's chasing down there?
Yeah,
that's good.
Not fooled at all.
That's really good. That's instincts. Not at all being fooled by misdirection. And then there's one thing seeing it, there's another thing doing it.
Was it just a crappy camera that got replaced? Because it doesn't appear to be raining at all.
No, it definitely, because they did not see them slide the previous play, Shane.
Well, I know, but like it doesn't even look like it's raining anymore.
Magic. That play before, if you've seen highlight reels of Jihaad Campbell, you've seen that play before.
By the way, Miles Hinton isn't playing in this game, apparently. I don't know if he was injured or something, but
I'm glad
he didn't play.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a tight end trying to block him there, but he didn't have any luck at all. 17, he shrugged him off pretty easily there.
I like how quickly he got depth there once he realized it was going to be a pass play. Like you can kind of see from the back view, his first steps up.
Yeah,
he
probably does a good job getting in the window behind him. I think you see it from that angle. There might have been a throw behind him actually. If you want to just really quickly go back 10, Shane, I might be wrong, but I think he manages to get just enough depth there to take away is it a double post or is it?
He probably chases this too far. But yeah,
maybe just enough. The QB's probably got it if he wants it. This was the angle where it looked like he might have stepped in front. I also think it's interesting, by the way. One thing you see on the All-22 that you won't see in highlights is the amount they talk pre-snap. He's been very vocal. He's very vocal there post-snap. He's been pretty vocal in terms of, and I don't think he'll have a huge leadership role early on, but it wouldn't surprise you at all when you come from Alabama, the kind of school he comes from, if he's pretty strong leadership type early on. That was
engaging a block
play.
there and gets off.
Yeah, he's been pretty good at that so far.
That's the center free release to the second level.
Yeah, that's good. And then he's pretty physical as well.
Austin asked if Alabama has a defensive scheme like anyone in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, Saban varies. I haven't watched Alabama in terms of in-depth, in terms of their scheme. They used to be more, you'd say, like comparable, wouldn't you? In approach to Fangio, but I think they've both changed quite a bit. This scheme is not anything you'll see.
The Vikings put linebackers on the line.
I was going to say, it's the old Mike Zimmer double mug, yeah. But again, it could also just be one game.
Yeah, they're playing a team that wants to run the ball a ton in Michigan.
I always think from one game you can tell a hell of a lot, but what you can't see is them excel in different roles, because quite often they'll go in with a game plan and you'll see players play quite similarly. I like that as well. I feel like he's got a good temperament where he'll come downhill early if he needs to, but he'll also recognize the down and distance situation, recognize you're in the red zone here.
Yeah.
I think he does a good job of, again, not getting full by the misdirection, watching, confirming. He's got to deal with a QB there. He's got to deal with a receiver coming across in motion, and he doesn't get fooled.
It looks like, is he contained on this play because the edge goes inside?
Yeah, he might be. He might be. Yeah, it's interesting. It's one of the things I noted, but again, in the games I watched, I felt I was pretty clear on it that when he doesn't trust it, he doesn't go. But his instincts in this game have been really, really good. Has he got sideline? Yeah, he's there. It's a shame the QB didn't break the tackle before, because I'd like to see him hit him.
Yeah,
see if he had the strength to knock him back. He's very good sideline to sideline.
That must be like a red zone quarterback, because that's not really the guy that's been their quarterback.
Just really quickly, go back literally 5 seconds. Look how quickly he reads the QB's got this. His eyes this game have been really, really good. There's a fake toss, isn't there? Oh, no, not a fake toss, but he's quick.
Yeah.
When he sees it, I wish he got through. I'd have loved to have seen him try to make the tackle.
Yeah, that was like a Wildcat quarterback or something, because this is the guy that's been playing quarterback.
What does it feel like, Shane? Do you feel like you're watching a future edge rusher?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
look at that. He just sacked a quarterback.
Yep.
Who tried to scramble up the middle, but
that's he's a linebacker, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's written all over the film. Look at him pre-snap there. Really good communicate. You can see he's communicating loads.
Just take away the quarterback size right there.
Good. It's good.
3rd and goal at the 2.
He looks very comfortable in coverage.
How bad did Alabama start this game? 16-0 at the start of the second quarter. And it looks like the defense has been good.
Yeah. Bang.
And on that tackle too.
Yeah, he's around the ball, isn't he? You can see it immediately.
This is the other quarterback too. Michigan's switching quarterbacks, which is kind of weird. Yeah, Campbell is so communicative before the snap.
He really is, isn't he? He really is. You really can see it. He's pretty physical as well. He's a pretty physical finisher. What is he? He's light, isn't he? I can't remember his exact weight, but I know he's not. He's not 228, is he? No, he's more than that. That was Trotter, I think. But he's not big, I know.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, no worries.
He is 235.
235, I was going to say. I'm pretty sure Trotter's 228. I know he's bigger than him. He is constantly communicating. Yeah. This is one where I think he can get a little bit stuck in the rep. I think he's sort of looking at the running back and he's a little bit slow out, but then look how quick he is to get out there.
Yeah, if you watch, hold on, I'm going to back it up. If you watch, he goes towards the running back, and then the running back stops to block. So I guess he decides to blitz instead. Yeah. So he's running at the quarterback when this pass is made, and then he's involved on the tackle at the sideline.
Yeah, he chases everything.
That's crazy. 3rd and 2 here.
They've totally changed their system now. He's not lining up. He's very much a traditional linebacker here, isn't he?
Yeah, that arrow is a lifesaver because I'm like, which one is he?
Well, yeah.
Boom,
Bang.
triggers downhill,
Yes.
hits him at the first down marker and
goodness,
pushes
Shane.
him back.
Celebrate that one, young man. That is the one you want to see. Again, eyes, sees it, triggers.
Knows it's 3rd and short, 3rd and 2.
Yeah. Not fooled at all by whatever motion they're trying to run. Get downhill, bang. Ignores the QB, knows that's someone else's job, not my job. Get downhill.
Yeah.
In a good way, he looks like a little bit unhinged when he hits as well.
They gave him the first down. I thought he stopped it.
Yeah, he reacted like he did. We'll pretend he did.
But I guess it's possible that he did. This is another possession. It's hard to tell sometimes on All-22.
Oh, I'm not sure why they're keeping him a lovely flag play, except for to show the guy lock him down in the backfield. Yeah, not much to say here.
No. Except that quarterback was about to die if there wasn't a penalty flag.
Ah, what a flop. Mahomes star.
False start, I guess. Because it went to 1st and 15. Now it's 2nd and 8. So that's a play it skipped there, but
nearly broke through there.
Yeah, somebody lost contain and Campbell had his gap plugged up, but
sometimes a trait I notice with him, that's good. That's good. He keeps moving sideways. He's unlucky then not to make that. I said one of the things I see with him, and I don't know if it's because he's slightly smaller, but sometimes you can almost see him strain to see over the line of scrimmage. But he hasn't done it too much in this game at all.
Yeah. Now we're mugged up in the A gap again, and they send him that time.
Yeah.
But guy's wide open. But he has a good rush, it looks like to me, against the running back. Actually, I think the arrow pointed at the wrong guy because I was watching 15, not 11.
They both came, didn't they, in the end anyway? Yeah.
So he gets blocked pretty cleanly by the center.
But he's an edge rusher, Shane. Surely he should be.
What you expect when you mug up the A gaps, you're just trying to occupy the center so somebody gets a one-on-one with the running back. It just wasn't Campbell that time.
I've got to stop the sarcasm because I end up playing edge for the Eagles next year.
He's going to end up with 12 sacks as a rookie, Jonny.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You tell me, guys that are watching this, does he not just look like the most traditional off-ball linebacker type you've seen? Former edge experience, but he moves like one as well, doesn't he?
He gets blocked pretty good on this one.
Yeah, he definitely will struggle to get off occasionally. That was a hold though by 17. It's a tight end
too, I think. Yeah, that's the tight end. Granted, he comes in low on him and maybe holds him a bit. But
I'm not sure it was a little bit of a hold when he's grabbing him there.
Might have just been more. That probably looks worse than it is because he was trying to swim right as the guy went low to the left and just kind of jammed him up. But Austin says him and Bond together would be a fun duo. Yeah, for sure. I think they can do a lot of the same things.
That was an interesting rep, assuming I was watching the right guy.
Yeah, he's just kind of guarding grass there. I mean, I think he's like following the quarterback's eyes, but that quarterback's looking to where there's no one. He bites on the play fake, and then he widens out. Like, I guess he does what you should do. The quarterback's just looking where no one's at.
He looks very easy dropping back, doesn't he? He looks very, very easy.
That's one where, like, you could screenshot it and be like, who is he covering? But then you actually watch it and where the quarterback's looking. Because, like, right now, it's like, what's he doing? There's nobody within like 20 yards, but it's where the quarterback's looking. I don't know.
Weird play design. I don't know
what he's trying to do.
3 deep, nothing else.
That looked like the 2023 Eagles offense.
Ryan Johnson, are you there? Yeah, he looks very easy. He looks very easy dropping back though, doesn't he? It looks very effortless.
Oh, that's a nice play. He doesn't make the tackle, but
you see the quickness. The quickness is there. If you do see him at edge, I can imagine you'll see a few plays like this where you get him with a line of scrimmage and say jump inside.
In the B gap, quick penetration inside the tackle.
Yeah, you can see the arm. I don't know. I should know. He looks like he's got pretty good arms, as in arm length.
It'd be cooler if he could just like stonewall this running back when he gets in. But because of how he jumps past the tackle, he's not
Yeah,
squared
it's
up.
tough. He actually does get sort of shoved down,
but anytime you're contacting the back that quickly in the backfield, it's a win because somebody else is there to clean it up.
Yeah, he's only got 46 percentile arm length, which isn't great for an edge rusher. But they look pretty decent. A couple of comments while we're running through this. Kajela seems more comfortable reading the play. Absolutely. He looks pretty good from depth coming forward to me.
Yeah.
I know it's boring analysis when you're a linebacker, Shane, but he's in and around so many plays.
Yeah.
Like, you don't always get credit with a tackle. Like this play, for example, I don't think he actually makes contact, but he's always in and around. I mean, he does. He should get a credit for that, but he's in and around the football so often. So often. Did
Michigan run the ball with the quarterback a lot? Because it looks like they're running a lot of read option-y type stuff, but we haven't really seen the quarterback keep it. At least not this quarterback. Number 10 has a few times.
Yeah. If you're bringing in someone else to run it, your main quarterback's probably not doing it a great deal. Right. That's
to the sideline.
Yeah, good. And that's also, you will see that a lot with Fangio, where they'd almost take, especially in the modern world, there are so many RPOs these days. As a linebacker, you simply have to be able to get out from this position. I always think you could be slightly wider, but you've got to be able to go. When we talk sideline to sideline, that's the very, very definition of what we mean. Basically, in the modern day RPO game, you're going to see 5-6 bubble screens a game as a linebacker from whoever you play. Name someone who doesn't have that in their offense these days.
What an interesting alignment. Yeah,
so you're going to have to sprint out.
Yep.
Oh
well, they didn't block. They blocked that. That looks like an Eagles bubble screen.
Yeah.
You got three guys to block three, and a guy comes in untouched.
That was a disaster.
I want to watch it again from this view.
I watched a really good clinic the other day on stopping RPOs. And one of the things they spoke about was how it's really easy, actually, good defenses to basically give the offense what they want pre-snap, but then almost force them to throw it. Like when you run that kind of play, there is no choice for them but to throw it, basically. And you almost can prepare for it, can't you? Like, go on then. I'm pretty sure Jihaad Campbell's literally saying pre-snap.
Look at Campbell. He's pointing at it, and at the snap, he's sprinting that way.
It's deliberate. It's basically we'll give him the favourable numbers. Oh my God, that block. Yeah, that is Brian Johnson is watching. But and he picks it, doesn't it? Almost bounces up. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I was watching this the other day, and it's a really good example of it there. Not that it's relevant to today's video, but how basically really good defenses will deliberately give offenses the look they want. I thought it was nearly the first time. Stay at edge. I wanted to see it. That was a good look, though. I wanted to see him defend the run from it.
Yeah,
he still does very well.
Still in on the
tackle. He
tackle.
Wasn't on the line of scrimmage, but again, he does very well. Look, that's the look. Get used to that. It's a shame he drops back, but they'll do that all the time.
Get used to that too. Yeah, they're gonna walk him down and peel him back a lot.
Yeah, it's good. He's very patient. He's quick when he needs to be, patient when he needs to be. There's been no silliness, no totally getting fooled by a play action or motion. It's been a very, again, the way people talk about him is is he an edge? Is he a linebacker? It makes him sound very raw, very like an athlete first. I don't think he is. I think he's very much a proper linebacker. That's where he got done.
That's a bad rep.
Yeah, I saw that play. That's where I don't think he's winning big enough to maybe take on guys. I think sometimes he tries to get around them too often, especially when it's a tight end. The problem with trying to get around someone is if it goes wrong, you're fully out of the play. Look here, he tries to run around him. He tries to duck under him. And that's where you would say there's rawness. You can watch that one again. Yeah, if you know what I mean, if you're watching, he tries to duck. If you look at here, he tries to get under him. And when you do that, if you don't get round, you've got zero power. If there's zero pop, what you want to see him do there is a little bit old school. Just come down and take the guy on, hit the guy, and then stick out an arm as the back comes past you, trying to slow him down.
Especially against a tight end. That's a 240-pound tight end.
That's the modern game in many ways. That's a nice finish.
That's the worst rep we've seen so far.
Yes, and these linebackers, that's very modern. Linebackers aren't 260, 270 anymore. They don't want to stack and shed the same way. I don't mind them avoiding contact, but there's time and a place. I don't mind you avoiding contact of a 320-pound guard. I want you to take on a tight end.
Yeah.
I want you to then be a little bit more old school.
Don't Bryce Huff it and end up on the ground because of a tight end.
Yeah.
He followed it up with a really good play there. We didn't talk about it because we were still talking about the last one, but that was a nice job attacking.
I'm amazed, actually, just big picture, when you look at oh god, it was like a clothesline. When you get rookie highlights on Twitter, there's so little negative plays tweeted by any draft analyst. If you search for a guy, you will only ever see positives, basically, which again is why the game is so important to watch. Watch a full game, because you won't see many bad reps in basically anyone's highlight reel. Even like scouting reports online will quite often just show the positive and then talk about the negatives.
Yeah.
But you could really see that clearly there. If you wanted an example of what we mean when we say not going through and trying to avoid contact, that's a good example. So that's an interesting one, because he's really quick to read that read option, isn't he? Considering no one's behind him.
Yeah, he would have the QB here if he kept
I'm wondering is he too quick to trigger? Does he get away with it? Or does he actually, this is a good angle to see. No, it's perfect. It's perfect. And that's good, actually, by the way, because you might do that stuff at edge as well, especially if you rotate late. He played that really well, I thought. Side on.
I'm wondering, I'm going to go, let's see. Who is this quarterback? Davis Warren.
I love how I know nothing about college.
Yeah, so this quarterback and college counts sacks as rushing attempts. Mm-hmm. So he only had 9 carries in the entire season. So there's probably an element of I'm just going to ignore him completely because he's not going to keep it. The other guy, the number 10 that they brought in he played a lot less. He had 47 pass attempts and 57 rushing attempts. So when 16's on the field, he's honestly probably just coached, like, don't worry about him at all.
Yeah.
Which is one of those game plan things that.
Yep. It's always the way. Always the way. Yeah, I think traits you can see immediately. Honestly, I'm not a big believer in you need to watch 10 games to understand. You need to watch 10 games to see results. You can get a sense of a player in 5 snaps. Like, you can see how they move. You can see the kind of athlete they are. You can see the way they want to play.
Yeah. Here's a snap where he just lines up and rushes on the line. Yeah. But he's still doing it as a linebacker, though.
Yes, he doesn't play edge much for this year at all, did he? It was former film when he lines up at edge before this season.
Lined up in the B gap, tries to run a game with the edge rusher on the center or on the tackle.
Yeah, he's not playing edge, is he?
No.
Let's be real.
It's fake news, Howie. Yeah. I have no idea what that arrow was pointing at on this play, but.
Yeah, that was one where, again, it's easy to say he misread it because he went with a QB. But again, without knowing the assignment in the room, that's why you always got to be careful when watching film. Depends on how Alabama designed this. He does go with a QB here, but it's very tight when they're playing like a scrape exchange or something, and he is taking. So it may have been his man, in which case, nothing to see.
It looks like the edge rusher played it, but I don't know
that as well. But the edge rusher ends up getting taken on by 17, so maybe they've seen that in film and they know they need the second guy when it's split zone or whatever. It's again, without being in the room. Anyone that tries to tell you everything about film without knowing is just don't listen to them, basically.
Reverse.
So that's an interesting one because he reads that bad. But again, I think when you're looking trick plays like that, am I really that fussed about that kind of play? Is that something you're going to see on a down basis? I mean, when you look at what he's looking at here, he gets what? 1, 2. I think he actually does watch it, to be fair. He does read it. I think it's just, you've got to trust your backside guys there.
He's too far gone, and that's not his responsibility.
No, your linebacker's not going to go across and across. That's going to be your backside guys that have got to stay gap sound.
Yeah. Oh, he's lined up on the edge.
He's at edge. Rush. It'd be great if he just spun 2 guys. But you know what? That's a joke, but it's a shame he doesn't throw it because that's really important.
I love how excited we are that he lined up on the edge and then he drops into coverage and they throw it to the other side of the field.
But that's massive. But you need to be able to drop from edge to play edge.
But they don't even throw it his way, so it's like
a joke. Just go back to the original view, Shan. I know it's nothing, but if you compare when we see like Sam Reddick 2 years ago drop into edge, you can see he takes 1 step forward, still can drop back, looks at the receiver coming, gets in the way of the slant. If that is thrown, he does his job. Like I've seen Josh Sweat drop, I've seen Hassan Reddick drop where they would just literally look like they're walking backwards and the guy could be standing behind them with both arms up, like waving at them, and the guy would have no idea. You can sense that he can drop into coverage. I'm not going to go mad about 1 rep from edge, but you can just sense, can't you, that he has an awareness of who's around them.
Remember when we tried to make Nolan Smith an off-ball linebacker in 2023 while the defense was falling apart?
Listen. I may have said that I don't dislike Nolan at off-ball, so let's all calm down. I didn't say he was an off-ball linebacker. I didn't say he was. Greg Cosell believed he was, actually, which is interesting because Greg Cosell also thinks things that I disagree with about Jihaad Campbell. I've said nothing else.
He attacks downhill really hard on this.
Yeah, and I think this is good because he is actually still reading the read option, but I think he
can get either guy there. If the quarterback kept it, he's on him.
He doesn't seem to be someone that they're targeting or running plays at and heavily being in bad positions or anything. Well, we got him here. Is he on the left?
Yeah, center of the field.
Yeah, running the center.
Well, that play died quickly.
That did die quickly. You can see another example of him trying to get round 51, can't you? You can see that he wants to avoid contact. There's a time and a place for it. Depends how they're coached. Depends how they're schemed up. Depends what kind of... It all depends on the kind of front you're running. But you can see in general, he's not taking him on there.
He turned his back too.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's something the problem is when it works, you look great because the highlight reel shows him just avoiding the blocker and looking fantastic. But that position there is not really somewhere you ever want to be at any level of football as a linebacker. If you compare
especially voluntarily. Like it's one thing if you get overwhelmed by power, but he did that to himself.
If you compare it to the guy that 17 is going after, look at how he goes downhill. He doesn't actually make the tackle, but watch him. Is it 17 or 15? Watch the comparison between the other linebacker getting the chest. You can see the difference there.
The Michigan guy is 17. The Alabama guy is 15. I don't know which one you were asking about, but 15, the other 15. Linebacker. If you watch
the difference in how they play it, they're almost identical, but one tries to take him on.
Now, granted, he's taking on a tight end, but we also saw Campbell try to dodge a tight end earlier too. So but let's not forget how bad Zach Bond looked in like week 3 or 4 against the Falcons with linemen climbing to him. It's something that's definitely a skill that can be learned.
Yep. Where is he again?
Mugged up on the line, bails out into coverage.
Yeah, he's good. He's very, very tidy in coverage. I know he's not been targeted, but you get a really easy sense when you just look at the way he's looking around him, he's scanning. He's not just dropping to a landmark and just literally going, take 10 yards and standing there. You can see it really nicely. Firstly, he has the ability to drop, but he's scanning, get in the way. Yeah, he's good. There's almost like a natural feel to me that he understands who's around him. If you look at him here, he doesn't actually look at the receiver after now. But look, he like naturally mirrors him. He knows he's going to be running an in-breaking route. He's like, it's good. I really like his coverage.
He does a good job of making it look like he's coming with pressure too, because as I was watching it right here, I was like, it doesn't really of course I've already seen the side view and I know he's bailing, but it's like, it doesn't really look like he's going to blitz.
No.
But then on the fake hard count, he gets that step forward and looks like he's bringing pressure. Like I like that. I like the body language on that.
Yeah. I like, I was going to say, I can't remember, but anyway, just in general, I like the way he drops back into coverage. Just the way he moves. He looks like he's got an awareness to him again. You'd have to see more games. You'd have to get him targeted. What you would say, Shane, is you see 0 man coverage reps. Not the way they're playing defense, is it? If you expected to see him on a tight end, again, doesn't mean he can't do it.
He dodges the center again this time. Dodges the center here, but this time it works.
Yep. Bang.
Gets around him. It can look really good.
Little, like shoulder dip. Yeah, when it works, it will work. But you might find a game where he's a bit hit and miss.
Yeah. Now we're mugged up on the A gap again. Botch snap.
Yeah. But yeah, it's something you just don't see a lot. You're not seeing a lot of man coverage of a defense in general. Which means you're not really seeing him get a chance to.
Yeah, I would like to see him targeted some more.
Yep. That's life, isn't it? I'm reading from my Bleeding Green notes after I watched him, and I said that he will struggle to take on bigger guards at the point of attack and will try to avoid contact instead. You can see a couple of nice reps in this.
He follows the quarterback here, but it's the backup quarterback that actually runs the ball.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if he is actually the read man from the A gap.
Yeah.
I guess maybe he is.
He looks like he's down for the QB again. It looks like they're playing him quite a lot to handle the QB.
Yeah.
Right, look how much talking he was doing pre-snap before that rep as well. He was moving guys around on the line of scrimmage.
Okay, he's off ball here.
Yeah. From depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the one, again, where you'd like to see him just be a little bit more physical. We actually didn't try to avoid contact here. I thought he did a good job. I was about to say I don't mind this rep because I think he was about to take on the guard and then he didn't manage to get his arm out. I'm wondering if he was a bit slow to trigger. Could he have got that? No, I think he does it pretty well. You just like to see him be a bit stronger.
Yeah.
It's hard, but when a guy runs past you, can you stick an arm out? Can you make the tackle even though you're being blocked? Like, he's okay here. He does try and take him on, actually. I think he does get his hand off his chest. I think he gets 71's left hand. His right hand's there. I think he could make it. I think maybe just a little bit of strength. Just a little bit stronger.
Yeah, it's just kind of
you see.
It's a bit of a fail by both linebackers that turns into a big game because 15 doesn't do a good enough job kicking or collapsing that puller. And so he doesn't collapse the puller quite well enough. Campbell doesn't do quite a good enough job of being physical with the left tackle. And if either guy does just a little better job, this play's probably dead in the water.
Yeah.
But because there's just that little crease and there's nobody there to fill it.
Yeah, he looks to me like he needs a little bit more aggression, take on the guard. Don't be afraid to come downhill quickly. I think he can be a little bit hesitant sometimes. Funny enough, that wasn't him there, was it? I was looking at the wrong guy. No, I was looking at 15. You can see 15. I should look who 15 is. I know I'm not watching 15, but you can see how much more aggressive. We'll look at 15 here. Take the guy on.
Yeah.
Although he doesn't make the challenge there, he does enough actually for Campbell to make the play. Mark saying in the comments as well, saying he'll match up with tight ends very well. Yeah, it's one of those weird ones, isn't it, where you think he would. You think he's got the skill set for it. Just don't see it.
Yeah. And Michigan has a really good tight end, by the way. I don't know if you've heard of him. Colston Loveland.
Yeah, I've not been watching him much.
Although I don't know that he's actually playing in this game.
No. I think he got a little bit dinged up here. That's a good rep. I like that. Although he gets dinged up. He doesn't come down here when he maybe doesn't have to. Right. I was going to say, I wonder if that was the last snap where he got dinged up. And it was indeed.
Yeah. All right.
Wow. Well, we've been going 42 minutes. I thought we'd done like 10. Christ.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, Kajeli have a good comment. I think he wants to rely on a change of pace too often to get past the blocker. I agree. There's a little bit of tempo. There's a little bit of trying to use tempo to get past someone. We've obviously both watched Campbell, so I wouldn't say I learned anything dramatically. I think what I could see from the All-22 better, that I haven't had the chance to watch a great deal yet, was how when he drops into coverage, you see a lot of scanning. I think when you watch the normal film, you just see the guy drop into coverage, don't you? But I think there was quite a lot of good scanning on show there.
That number 15 that we were talking about that played with a little more aggression is actually 20 pounds lighter than Jihaad Campbell.
Really? Maybe that's the way he has to play. Maybe it's almost like a covering up in a way. All
right. Well, I guess for me, takeaways is just that the traits really jump out, and he's more of an edge is just utter lunacy. Thanks, Howie, for feeding that into the same Eagles media machine that was convinced the Eagles were going to trade Dallas Goedert for a 6th round pick or something. But it's interesting to watch because like the traits jump off. He seems so smooth dropping. He seems to read, like his instincts seem pretty on point most of the time, but there's some lapses. There was a couple bad reps in the run game.
Yeah.
Michigan didn't really throw the ball a lot on this film, so we didn't see a ton in the pass game from him there. But more of the concerns, I think, would be in the run game than the pass game because he's a pretty fluid mover. It is a little hard to draw like one-to-one comparisons because Alabama does some weird things with their linebackers. Like they mugged him up on the line a lot, and you're just not going to see the Eagles do that often. But yeah, I think the traits jump out, and it doesn't necessarily change anything I originally thought from my scouting reports on him, but it's always interesting to watch, just a whole game start to finish.
Yeah, he was basically, I mean, I've watched a lot of these I've watched this exact game. The second I saw the play where he ran out wide, I was like, yes, you've all seen this play. You can see the athleticism. You can see the sideline. I think you can see instinctively, reactionally, he's good. I don't watch his film and think, I'd love to stick him at edge and let him bend the corner. I watch his film and think he's a reactive linebacker, basically. When he diagnoses and gets downhill, he is incredibly good. I think his issue is going to be and I keep saying it, 90% of modern day linebackers, they're light, Shane. They're light. Yeah. And look how much NFL's changed in the past 10 years. Look how, I don't know the exact number, but I would guess the average linebacker has gone down dramatically in weight at times, and blockers aren't. Blockers are still pretty big. I think he needs to get more. I'm just Googling now, like old school linebackers, just to have a look. And someone like Brian Urlacher, like 260 pounds. Like that was like the old, that kind of build. And you would fly down into a guard and you would take them on. I think he tries to avoid contact a little too much. But yeah, a couple of comments saying, Mark saying Bama plays their linebackers weird. They do in that game as well. And when you're watching college film, it's very hard to see how players translate, and it's always a challenge. I just try and focus on the traits. You can see him move well. You can see that reaction-wise, he looks very good. And I think dropping into coverage, you can see how much Fangio has looked to him and gone. Him and Zach Bourne both dropping into coverage together as the two underneath defenders. Absolutely, you can see that happening. Any final thoughts, Shane? Anything let's get to before we wrap it up?
Yeah, no, I think that's it. That was interesting. I'm weirdly more interested to do this for some of the other prospects because I had viewed Campbell pretty extensively in the pre-draft process. I'm interested to do it for Andrew Makuba, a guy that I liked, but I didn't watch as much of, and then some of the later guys that I didn't really watch at all. So I'm interested to dive into some of those guys, but people always want to know about the guys that are going to make an impact. Jihaad Campbell is probably the most impactful guy in Makuba. So we'll probably try to get Makuba out on Patreon next week, I would imagine.
Yep, absolutely.
So just want to mention again, I know we mentioned it up front, but if you enjoy this type of stuff, head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/ontheshane page. We're going to be kicking out a lot of that content. Again, it's a little risky to put this stuff onto Twitter and YouTube. So we're not going to be putting a lot of the college All-22 out there in other places because we don't want to get in trouble. So come check it out there. Hey, if you just check it out for a month and get all the All-22 stuff and leave, that's fair game. But we think you'll want to stick around because we put a lot of work into it and have a lot of other stuff going on. So come check it out. If not, we're still going to have shows in the public feed. It'll probably just be more like talking about what we'd watch rather than actually watching it along with you, just so we don't get banned.
we've got loads of games to post for All-22. We're obviously not going to watch every single one, but I've got more than one Jihaad Campbell game. It might be the kind of thing that, we dive into one on Patreon. We'll definitely do Makuba next. That will definitely be a Patreon show. So Kajella commenting as well, saying my first time watching someone in this much detail. That's what it is. You get a different sense, man, watching full games. There's not enough of it in the modern world. Even when you watch the draft coverage, like they're so good on TV these days, but every time they show a play, you think everyone's the best player in the world.
Yeah.
You need to watch full games. You need to watch. The odds are they make one or two highlight reel plays a game. But you also get an idea of how a game flows, don't you? You got an idea that as the game went on, I think he was trying to avoid contact a little more. Just little things happen. And shout out Kev. No one does it better. Discord is cool. Yeah, Discord's awesome. It really, really is good fun. So yeah, the more people join the Patreon, the more shows we can do like this. So you know the drill, share, etc., etc. Leave lovely comments, ask us questions, and yeah, we'll get to. I'm looking at actually what games I've got shared with me for Makuba now. So if you're in the Patreon and you want to see us talk about Makuba, I have got while I load them. Oh my goodness, the sources come through. I've got loads of games going back even. Further, but there's quite a lot of Makuba games in here, so we can definitely get to a few of them. I've got Florida, Georgia. Yeah, we got a few. We got more than enough. I've actually got Michigan as well, which would be quite funny. I'd rather watch a different team. Let's not do that. Anyway, I'll leave you to wrap it up.
Let's not watch Michigan run the ball 78% of their plays against a safety that we're trying to watch.
Maybe we'll get to Georgia or Florida. Might be a little bit more interesting.
All right. Well, that's going to do it, guys. Thanks for watching along. I know our schedule has been a little weird around the draft and different things, and it's all Johnny's fault.
And we're having a newborn.
Yeah, but without, we need time to review footage from Sunday's game that locks us into Wednesday recordings. It'll be a little fluid throughout the offseason, but hopefully you guys are able to catch us live, catch us on replay. Everything's always archived. It'll be out in the podcast feed. So thank you for joining along, and we will catch you guys next time.